Okay, so this is today is February 17th. It is a Monday. These are some of the things that were going on in terms of the coronavirus here in Japan. From yesterday, there's another 70 more people infected. That brings it to a total of 355 people, and that's been reported by your NHK and CNN. So what that basically means is that basically roughly 10% of the total ship population has the virus. And no, they did not test everyone yet, so that should say a lot. And then you've seen several countries chartering flights to get their citizens out of there, which is a great idea because why wouldn't you? That ship is basically a biohazard. It's a petri dish for the coronavirus at this point. There's no point in keeping all those people in quarantine because, like I said in my last video, those people will inevitably get the virus because, like I said, the cruise ship is a big mating ground for viruses or just any sickness in general. So, Japan has established also a 24-hour coronavirus hotline. Before this, they used to have a hotline that was open from Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. But now it's just 24/7. So I think some people are starting to grow concerned, at least in the government, since they're having a 24-hour hotline for the virus. I wanted to talk about this new case that they found in Nagoya Prefecture. This person did travel abroad, but the place they went is actually really weird. They went to Hawaii. So basically, she went to Hawaii and then got these cold-like symptoms. And then she came back to Japan and then got confirmed with the coronavirus. So that's crazy. So what does that mean? I think Hawaii should watch out because that means that since this person contracted the virus from Hawaii, or maybe in transit, who knows? But probably from Hawaii. Hawaii is home to a lot of tourists themselves. So I don't find it far-fetched that maybe Hawaii has been exposed to the virus already. So I would be on the lookout for things going on in Hawaii at this point. As you can see, a lot of the new infections worldwide outside of China aren't directly related to China anymore. You see a growing number of people that are starting to get infected domestically and under other circumstances. So this is taking a hold in the rest of the world at a fast pace. A couple of days ago, a 80-year-old woman in Kanagawa Prefecture was found dead. She had the coronavirus, but they did not know that until she was already dead. That's actually very tragic, to be honest. So, in more recent news, as of 23, so 11 p.m. my time yesterday, they found 6 new cases, 5 of them are in Tokyo, and then another one in Aichi Prefecture. So that's alarming. That means there's some things going on there. And I actually did some investigation myself and have found that there is a shortage of certain things when you go shopping. So I went to a supermarket. It has a bunch of random stuff, but it also has daily commodities. And I found that toilet paper, I don't know if you guys been following the coronavirus story for that long, but the toilet paper was a huge problem in Hong Kong during the early stages of the epidemic there. So, and tissue paper was gone. There was a limit of how much toilet paper I could buy, however, and that was 3 per person. So I managed to get my hands on 3 toilet paper roll packs, which is great for me. And hand soaps are gone. All types of sanitizers. Obviously, there's no more masks anywhere. And the Japanese are very, they tend to buy instant noodles in times of disaster because it's actually a very non-perishable for the most part, and it is easy. It's instant noodles, right? So I saw a shortage of some of those things. Some tea seemed to be low. Definitely no types of disinfectant type drugs here on this shelf. So like no iodine or some like things that are claimed to kill viruses, those types of chemicals or cleaners or whatever, are gone. So that is alarming. It seems that the Japanese people are starting to follow this and are preparing for the consequences that the coronavirus and epidemic here might entail. I guess these infection experts is what NHK wants to call them, held a meeting because they were concerned about the domestic cases going on, and they decided that, quote, this is a dirty quote because the article is in Japanese, but basically they're saying that the domestic epidemic is in early stages. Now, that is a crazy claim to make. I mean, it's right, but it is astonishing and it is alarming that a government body is coming out saying that stuff. And last night, the fifth and perhaps final chartered flight from Wuhan, or taking Japanese people from Wuhan back to Japan, landed in Wuhan. So they're probably back already. I don't know. So I just wanted to speculate maybe some mild cases in Japan. People might assume that they had the cold or the flu or something, and they're probably spreading it unknowingly. That would explain the recent cases that you've seen in Wakayama Prefecture, where several doctors in a hospital contracted the virus from a patient or something of that sort. So if domestic transmission is going on, that's actually really scary, and a lot of these new cases that are coming out seems to be clustered by Tokyo, which would be very scary because a lot of people commute through trains and buses and that sort of thing, and that is a breeding ground once again for a virus. If you've never been to Japan, they basically stuff you in the trains during rush hours. So we're talking about in the morning when people are going to work, and then at night. It is a very congested environment, any train station in Tokyo. I am still looking out for this travel ban that Japan doesn't seem to be putting on China still. Yes, they have some for certain provinces that the disease seems to be taking hold of in China, but outside of that, there is no blanket travel ban as you've seen with different countries. In other news, the economy doesn't look good, according to this Forbes article. These are estimates before the emergence of the coronavirus or any consideration of coronavirus. This person says that there is an estimated 3.2 to 3.8 contraction of GDP in Japan. So basically, the GDP is going down by these numbers. There is an increased risk with the less tourism and trade that seems to be going on with China right now. Japan is very reliant on China's trade and tourism. And a probability for a technical recession is at 69%. That's not even 50-50. If that happens in Japan, then obviously it will affect Europe and Northern America. And what about the Olympics? Like, what's going to happen with that? Because I think that is starting to come more and more into jeopardy as this situation unfolds here. So, if you live in Japan, what you should do, you should prepare, but not for the virus. You should prepare for panic and inflation that will happen very soon. So, we're talking about canned goods, beans, vegetables, soup, Spam, instant noodles, I guess. They're very cheap, and you can buy them in bulk right now. Purified water or tea, if you can get your hands on them. I don't know what it's like in mainland. All my investigation that occurred is, I live in Okinawa. This is southern Japan. If the shit really hits the fan here, I would fill my bathtub up with water. Because, once things start shutting down, there's not going to be people to man water cleansing plants. And same thing with electricity. So I'd buy like some candles, lights, lighters, toilet paper. Yeah, like I said, there's starting to put a limit on toilet paper, so it'd be smart to get that. If you have a family, you should have a family emergency plan. Like, if you really need a dip, then your family should have an emergency plan. What happens if this happens? And it's just smart to have a family emergency plan in any disaster in life. So with the shortage of sanitizer and like hand sanitizer or alcohol-based sanitizers, like we've seen around the world, but in Japan, you can actually make your own sanitizer or like decontaminant. The Japanese news actually informed me about it, but basically, if you can get any bleach with the concentration of 12.5, 2 milliliters per 500 millimeters of water, and that concoction is known to kill influenza, norovirus, which is a scary thing here, strep, your basic viruses and bacteria. So it is a good precaution to make if you can't get your hands on sanitizer or alcohol-based sanitizers. I would boost your immune system. So we have this thing called Yakult here. It's good for gut health and probiotics. Take some vitamin C, or get your vitamin C naturally, but eat some oranges or citrusy stuff. Hydrate, that's always good because hydration is key. And yes, like I said, stock up on non-perishable goods while you can. You might want to be ahead of the herd with a situation like this. And yeah, it's always good to be ahead. Better safe than sorry. Maybe this shit will not be bad. It doesn't look like it's gonna go that way, but maybe this shit won't be bad. Maybe the government knows what they're doing, and then this situation can get resolved. But better safe than sorry. And plus, if you live in Japan, you have to have disaster preparation anyways. This place is prone to earthquakes and typhoons if you live in the region, and blizzards and all types of stuff. So it is always good to prepare for any disaster. So you wouldn't be losing anything by preparing and buying all these things, I would think. They're low cost, so if you're on a budget, it's not that expensive. I will do another video on what I've done to prepare, not for the virus, like I said. There's not much you can do about this virus, as we've seen with like certain scientists on YouTube like to say that masks aren't the best precaution. So unless you really have like a hazmat suit, I don't see like you not getting the virus if shit really hits the fan. So I will do another YouTube video about what I've done to prepare for, basically, I don't want to sound like a fearmonger or something, but like basically the shutdown of society, like we've seen in China, that can happen in any other country if this virus takes a hold enough there. So it is better to be safe than sorry. And if we're safe, then you have a stockpile of things in case another disaster happens. An earthquake can happen in Japan at any time, so it is always good to have these things on hand anyway. So while I did my shopping, because I needed some toilet paper, I didn't know that toilet paper, it didn't cross my mind that toilet paper would be a thing to have a stockpile of. So I did go and buy some toilet paper. I decided to stroll on by a popular tourist spot from where I live in Okinawa. It's called American Village, and this place is usually filled with a lot of foreign people, mainly Chinese and Korean. But as you can see, it is very empty and depressing. So that says a lot about how the tourism aspect of the economy is taking a hold already. So it is, stuff looks fine right now, but I don't think it's going to for any much longer if this stuff if it really hits the fan. So that's about all, and see you next time.